Hey guys, it's Mr. Dugal, and today we're going to talk about the distributive property when it comes to variables. So when we go to evaluate an expression like our first one, where we're going to distribute the 6 to the x and the 6 to the 4, we're going to think about these the same way we would if they were all just numbers. So if they were just numbers, we would say 7 times 3 plus 7 times 5. So going back to number 1, our first expression here, it would be 6 times x, and that is a plus sign in between here, so it would be plus 6 times 4. We know that 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times x is interesting because students have learned that you are not to combine terms. You're not to combine a number with a variable. And that is true. You do not combine terms when you're adding or subtracting a number with a variable. However, when you multiply, the numbers do mesh together. So it is 6x plus 24. Now we said just a second ago that when we go to combine a variable and a number, we can't do it if it's addition or subtraction, which we have on this step. We have 6x plus 24. So that actually is our answer in simplest form. When I go to number 2, I have 7 times all of y minus 5. We're going to do 7 times y as our first parentheses. This time, instead of a plus, notice that there is a minus separating the two, so it would be minus 7 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times y is just 7y. 7 minus 35 is our answer in simplest form. Number 3, we're going to distribute the negative 4 to the negative n, and the negative 4 to the positive 3. Just as a reminder, when it comes to multiplying and dividing with negatives, a helpful tool that helps students remember if the outcome is positive or negative, you can do this on your own if you ever freeze, is to draw positives diagonally and then negatives everywhere else you look. And basically this gives you the outcome. So looking at this first one, if a positive, you're multiplying or dividing a positive and a negative, it will equal a negative. If you're multiplying a negative and a negative, equal a positive. If you're multiplying a positive and a positive, it also equals a positive. And that works no matter which way you look. It will tell you the answer. So students have found that helpful in the past. So let's use this tool to help us here. And we have a negative 4 times a negative n, which gives us a positive outcome. So we have negative 4 times negative n, which will give us a positive 4n. We have a plus sign separating the two, and we're left with negative 4 times positive 3. Got a negative here times a positive, which will equal a negative outcome. So we're going to do plus negative 12, which is our answer in simplest form. We could also rewrite this as 4n minus 12, because adding a negative is the same as subtracting a positive. Our final one, number 4, we're going to distribute negative 3 to w and negative 3 to 4. Notice there is a subtraction separating the two. First we have negative 3 times w, then we have minus negative 3 times 4. On both of these, we have a negative times a positive, which will equal a negative. So we have negative 3w minus negative 3 times 4 would be negative 12. So that is one way to write it as an answer, negative 3w minus negative 12. But we don't usually say minus a negative. When you subtract a negative amount away, that's really the same thing as just adding, so we would have negative 3 plus 12. This would be a much more common way to write this answer as an expression.